What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode, we are concluding our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam narrative. Last time, we learned about Jonah and the Miracle Children. He and Michelle Luo are trying to hunt down Phoenix Gundam, piloted by their friend Rita. In this episode, Zoltan and Jonah fight inside 6. Zoltan goes rogue, and Jonah makes it to the Newtype cosmic plane of existence. So let's get into this. EFF approaches Colony 18 of Side 6, known as Matisse, which happens to be a college colony. Captain Avery doesn't want to enter the colony without a warrant, but Michelle suggests that she name-drop Luo and co. Ugh, nepo babies. Jonah and the Shizar team move into the colony. Jonah rushes in ahead of Shizar. Like Amado, he sees a bird and thinks that is Rita, but it happens to be Zoltan in Sinanju Stein. Zoltan fires inside the colony. Narrative uses its wire-guided bits on Sinanju Stein. The Neo-Zeon mobile suit grabs Narrative and it begins glowing red along with his Psycho Frame spacesuit. Out in space, Phoenix can sense Jonah. Jonah takes a beating when Phoenix comes in to help. He remembers his past, and the NTD system activates on Narrative. However, it wasn't activated by Jonah. It was Michelle. Remember, during our Unicorn coverage, we mentioned that the NTD system effectively takes the pilot out of the equation. All that is necessary is a Newtype in the cockpit. It seems that Michelle has taken that technology to the next level, effectively making a pilot a power source for psycho waves that the mobile suit feeds off of. Michelle is ultimately using EFF and the colony to lure out Phoenix. Narrative uses its psycho jammers to confine Phoenix. Jonah has no control. He cries out and it causes Second Neo-Zeon, the mysterious mobile armor, to activate. The NZ999 Second Neo-Zeon was made using parts from Full Frontal's Neo-Zeon, and parts of this unit still have the red color. The wired funnels are deployed from the arms. According to the Japanese website, it says that putting it in the arms make it resemble the Zeong more. But why? What about its arms make it more like the Zeong than the original Neo-Zeon? I might be reading this wrong. Someone with better Japanese skills confirm this. Weapons include 60mm Vulcans, a beam saber, a large beam axe, a large caliber high megaparticle cannon, shoulder cannons, the powerful Psycho Shard generator, and everything else the original Neo-Zeon can wield. The Neo-Zeon makes its way to the colony. It is drawn to Narrative Gundam. Brick mentions that it isn't the NTD system causing the two units to come together, but rather this is coming from Jonah. He flashes back to when the 3 kids were walking around the remains of Australia after the colony drop. Rita is wondering if there is a god. They look around knowing that a god wouldn't let a colony drop happen. Rita believes that there may be no god, but there certainly is a soul. Titan's Commander Escola is watching over the children. Even though they are planning to give one of the children over to Luo and co, he wants to keep the child and even resort to surgical enhancements. Now that Grips 2 has fallen, they need all the power they can against the AUG. They don't have time, as if the Titans fall, they will be considered war criminals. The problem is, no one knows which one of the 3 is the Miracle Child, so they plan on feeding them false information to see if one will speak up. Michelle Luo heard the entire conversation go down. She and Jonah indeed know that Rita is the Miracle Child. Michelle tells Jonah that they have to lie to protect Rita. Soon, the war will be over and they can be free. So the two confessed, but Michelle lied. He knows that Jonah would spill the beans if he was chosen to go with Luo and co. So it has to be Michelle. She won't slip up and they can have Rita. Michelle just saved her own ass. Stephanie and Woman Luo take in Michelle while Rita undergoes cyber Newtype enhancements. When Jonah tries to stop them, Rita says something to him, but we the audience do not hear what she said. The war ended, but Michelle never came back for Jonah or Rita. In the present, Jonah docks with Neo-Zeon. A huge psycho field emanates from the two machines. Jonah calls Michelle a liar and goes mad. It seems like he is about to destroy the colony when Rita in Phoenix calms him down and tells him that there is nothing he could do about the past. She removes Narrative from Neo-Zeon and takes off. Before leaving, she says that she will need help one day. Back on the Damascus, there are a lot of things Michelle didn't inform Captain Avery about, and he demands to know the answers. In space, a ship that looks an awfully lot like the Garanciers changes course to prevent the Neo-Zeon extremists from getting their hands on Unit 3. A mobile suit is on standby. Michelle spills the beans. The Unicorn Gundams seem to have demonstrated that the Gundam itself can capture the will, soul, essence, whatever you want to call it, and send it to a higher plane of existence. The body itself doesn't seem to serve a purpose, but most importantly, it shows that life is eternal in some form. I mentioned that the Gundams were dismantled, but I didn't mention that the Psycho Frames were sealed away as an agreement between Neo-Zeon and EFF. Also, people now refer to what happened with Unicorn Gundam as a singularity. Michelle tells the Damascus crew that Unit 3 is designed to destroy the singularity. Iago realizes that Unicorn Gundam wasn't dismantled. It was all a lie. I'm sorry, this is bugging me, but I have to stop the story to point out that everyone's rank badges in this movie changes size. Look how big Iago's badges are. There's an animation supervisor out there that needs to be fired. Jonah comes in and says that it is either Unicorn or something equally on par with Unicorn. Back on the Chevet-class ship, Alec is talking to Monahan about Zoltan going nuclear in the colony and unleashing Neo-Zeon, even though it was Jonah's doing. Monahan mentions that Zoltan is nothing more than a failed Char clone that is shown to be too erratic. Full Frontal was the ideal clone, while Zoltan was a test tube baby that was dropped too many times. Monahan decides to pull the plug on the operation and wipe his hands of Neo-Zeon. Zoltan is listening in on the conversation. Back at the Damascus, Michelle admits that she lured out Neo-Zeon on purpose. The Fetties are furious, but Brick interjects and says that they are trying to cure death, and surely that must amount to something. They have themselves a Philosophy 101 conversation about death, but Michelle believes that curing death will cure greed, murder, grief, and betrayal. People do some crazy things in the name of survival. That all goes away. Monahan tells Alec to kill her crew to eliminate any witnesses. But that is when Zoltan comes in as he heard the conversation. She pulls out a gun, but Zoltan shoots her in the head. He launches in the Neo-Zeon. Brick talks to Jonah about being the one who has to lure Rita. He starts to go into a conversation about the soul when the ship gets a red alert. The Neo-Zeon is tearing through General Revel's, Jagans, and Rozel's as they pass by the Helium-3 storage base. It is a giant sector of space that stores helium. It seems to be located near Site 1. He takes out the 2 entire squads. Zoltan then activates the Psycho Shard emitter. Remember, this weapon is said to be able to do anything at will, and we will see that as Neo-Zeon flings a helium tank at the EFF fleet and then detonates it, taking out the General Revel. The Damascus fleet watches when Jonah gets a new type flash. Rita asks for his help. As he goes to launch, Michelle says that she speaks to her as well. We finally get an admission from Jonah that Rita is dead, but something of her still remains in Phoenix. Michelle gives him her piece of the pendant and allows him to launch. Jonah launches in Narrative C-Packs. The RX-9C Narrative C-Packs is a variant of Narrative which is covered in Psycho frames and used as armor. These were supplied by Luo & Co. and is referred to as the Psycho Package. Weapons include a 60mm Vulcan gun, a beam saber, a Jagan beam rifle, and a shield. Many of the General Revel's mobile suits still remain and are able to do some damage to Neo-Zeon, but Zoltan uses the wired funnels to take control of the EFF mobile suits. Brick and Michelle launch in a base jabber. She recently told Stephanie that she wasn't, in fact, the real miracle child. Stephanie says that it doesn't matter, and her mission for immortality won't save their dad. After Wooman Luo dies, Michelle isn't going to be ousted by Stephanie or Luo & Co. simply because she lied about being the miracle child. Stephanie says it wouldn't be in the best interest in Luo & Co. Michelle smiles, so I assume Stephanie is teasing her, but I have no idea. She might actually be all business and not actually care about Michelle. It's kind of hard to read them. The two launch in the base jabber. The crew are mad that the captain let them go, but he says that they should focus on this simulation he just ran. According to the simulation, if Neo-Zeon sets off enough of helium-3, it could reach a critical mass and cause one of the biggest explosions ever. This explosion would take out both Side 1 and Side 6, where the scattered remains of the colony will most certainly fall down on Earth and can cause a travesty greater than any colony drop. Zoltan chases Phoenix with his Jagan drones and takes out some of the helium tanks. He could sense that the Phoenix pilot is a cyber Newtype. He grabs Unit 3, but Narrative comes in to help. Phoenix and Narrative work together to take on Neo-Zeon. Rita believes that it shouldn't exist in this world. That is when the blue ship makes it to the battlefield. It is the Garnciers Jr., led by Zinnerman. A black mobile suit launches. Neo-Zeon grabs Phoenix when Michelle and Brick come in with the base jabber. They unload what I assume are psycho frames, which create a barrier around Neo-Zeon. Jonah looks at his pendant. We learn that it was his dad's pendant who died during the colony drop, and it was broken. He is mad, but Rita wants it. In the present, Iago comes in to help Jonah. The two attack Neo-Zeon. Narrative grabs the base jabber and gets it to safety. Iago was at the Battle of Axis. He witnessed the cosmic glow, and he is starting to become a believer. But Neo-Zeon takes over his Jesta. Michelle and Brick jump the propellant tanks in the base jabber and head back into the battle. Brick tells Jonah what he was going to say to him earlier. He says that if the soul can be transplanted into a psycho frame, then death is not the end. As Zoltan attacks Narrative, the base jabber blocks the attack, killing Brick and Michelle. They then transfer the consciousness into the psycho plate exploits that they threw on the battlefield and use it to protect Narrative Gundam. At least I think that's what's happening. Something new type nonsense. We flash back to the three children who decide to take each piece of the pendant. Jonah isn't sad anymore. We cut to them looking over the remains of Australia once again. Michelle tells Jonah that everyone has a reason to live, and clearly his reason is Rita. Newtype Ghost Michelle tells Jonah to go to her. Narrative rushes towards Phoenix as Neo Zeon destroys the Gundam. Jonah ejects in the core fighter when a beam blast takes out one of the wired funnel bits. It is Banagher Links in the Silver Bullet Suppressor. The ARX-014S Silver Bullet Suppressor is an upgraded version of the Silver Bullet seen in Unicorn. What makes this version unique is that it has the ability to store and easily remove up to 4 right arms. Now why is this? It is because this Silver Bullet also uses the Beam Magnum. The Beam Magnum can only be used by the Unicorn Gundams without its arm being destroyed. This solves that problem. The backpack stores 4 arms and it is equipped with a quasi-Psychoma system. Other weapons include 60mm Vulcans, a beam saber, a grenade launcher, and a beam cannon. But the Delta Chi can't shoot the Beam Magnum. Shut up! Everything in Gundam evolves from something else and was leading to this moment. Banana fires the Beam Magnum, taking out the right arm of the unit. Jonah gets into the Phoenix and finds the third piece of the pendant. He activates the NTD system and begins destroying Neo Zeon. Zoltan ejects in the Sinanju Stein. However, Phoenix punches through Sinanju Stein's cockpit and plows the mobile suit back into Neo Zeon, killing Zoltan. However, this sets off the helium and it reaches a critical point. The Garnciers Jr. needs to back up, but Banagher goes out to help. Jonah reaches a new type plane of existence and talks to Michelle and Rita. As Rita was the true miracle child, she actually knew about all of this happening since they were a kid. Michelle didn't lie to Jonah for self-preservation. She did it because Rita told her to, and they left Jonah in the dark. He wants to stay with Michelle and Rita, but he still exists in the physical world. Phoenix Gundam grows psychofield wings which wrap around the helium explosion, preventing it from expanding and destroying the colonies. The psychofield consumes the explosion and disappears into a singularity. Banagher grabs Jonah, floating out into space. He looks up to see Phoenix flying away. Banagher tells Jonah that it is flying at nearly the speed of light, and you can't catch it, but perhaps someday. Banana parting some words of wisdom via metaphor? Aw, I missed you, buddy. Get over here. How have you been? Oh, we're done. Never mind. Goodbye forever, Banana. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam narrative. If you didn't enjoy the new type nonsense of Unicorn Gundam, then you probably didn't enjoy this either, as it double downs on new type nonsense. I did quite enjoy the Miracle Children and wish there was more of a focus on them. Although, if you are familiar with Blue Destiny, Rita's story sounds very familiar to Marion's story. But let's not get hung up on the UC90s. Let's keep this party going and get all Mafty up in here as we head into UC 105. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember to get your pumpkin masks ready. Peace.